There is more evidence suggesting the IRS targeting scandal may have involved even more members of the federal government in Washington. Newly uncovered emails show that Lois Lerner was talking with the Justice Department about going after groups seeking tax-exempt status, that only days before she publicly acknowledged the agency had targeted conservative groups. I want to talk about that with Reince Priebus, chairman of the Republican National Committee, with us from Washington. Thanks for coming back, and good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Bill.
What does this tell you? What does it prove, do you think?
Listen, I think what it tells me and what it proves to me is that they've got a lot to hide. And the fact that now we're also, the RNC has filed a lawsuit against the IRS. We've requested some pretty basic documents almost a year ago, and they have requested one extension after the next in violation of the law. These are documents that they should have, communication between them and the White House, communication between Lois Lerner and the Cincinnati office. They're not coming clean. I think they've got a lot to hide, Bill. I mean, it's a drip, drip, and it gets worse and worse. Ultimately, though, I think that what we need is Lois Lerner to get prosecuted so that we could have real discovery, and we really can get to the bottom of with the prosecuting attorney's power in getting these documents and figuring out what really happened at the IRS.
That leaves a lot open to answer there, and I know we don't have those answers now. But initially it was said that it was only happening in a field office in Cincinnati, Ohio. Clearly that wasn't the case. It was in Washington, D.C. as well. Now, the question is, how deep did this run in Washington?
Well, I mean, and that's the question. I mean, we don't know to what extent or to what depth the Obama administration may or may not have been involved. We obviously know that Lois Lerner was setting up meetings with the DOJ to purposely target conservative groups. We know that she specifically targeted Crossroads, I mean, just very clearly in writing, in email. So these are not theories. This is not the Republican Party that is creating a whirlwind here. This is fact on paper. She's apologized publicly now. She spoke, I think, to the American Bar Association, which is silly, of course. But the point is she's admitting wrongdoing in front of the entire world. And I think it's time that the Obama administration force transparency here at the IRS and be who they said they were going to be, this incredibly transparent administration, which we know is a complete joke at this point.
Well, you know the president said there's not a smidgen of corruption to be found on this story. I know you also disagree with that. But just let me get to the question. Can you find a way where this can be explained away? I mean, they were just thinking, hey, all these political groups are coming, they're applying for tax-exempt status, and we can't be sure or convinced just yet that that is truly their ambition. That's what Lois Lerner might argue. Answer that.
Yeah, and it can't be explained away anymore because now we see in emails, in documents that they have sent forward, that the coordination is there, the specific targeting is there, the abuse of power is there. So there's no way to undo what is in writing and what has been produced. The problem is that when they sit on documents for almost a year now that they're not producing, they're obviously hiding something that's even worse. It's going to come out. I mean, eventually this is going to come out. But, you know, in law, delay is a lawyer's best weapon. And I can only imagine what it would be like if we all decided not to pay our taxes for over a year, or we didn't file on April 15th. What would the IRS say to all of us
not take
if we didn't comply?
We wanted to talk about that, but quickly, I just have about 30 seconds left. For the midterms, how would you characterize the fundraising ability of your leading Republican candidates today? Is it good, bad, or mediocre compared to Democrats?
I think it's been phenomenal, Bill. I mean, and not just the candidates that are doing great. It was just in Arkansas yesterday, and Tom Cotton's doing a great job. I won't go through it all. But I tell you, even as a national level, look, you got a Republican National Committee out of power in the White House for over 5 years, and we outraised the Democratic National Committee by almost $20 million. So people are excited about what we're doing, change, hope for our country, and I think we're going to get some of that in 2014.
It's April 17th today. Are you predicting victory for the Republicans in the Senate? Will you win that branch of Congress?
I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win the majority in the Senate, but we have to keep our head down and fight like crazy to make sure it happens.
Reince Priebus, thank you for your time. Out of Washington, sir. Thank you. Have a good Easter.